feel about you being labeled a K dot hater? Because that was one of the things I've been seeing. And again, when I say some of the things I say about Common, and I'm a fan of Common, I get labeled a hater. What do you think about that notion?
I mean, I don't hate anybody for one.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think they're
that's the
saying that
first thing
loosely.
that we need to get out the way. I don't believe in hate.
Yeah.
Um, I just believe that you. I believe in some of the things that I read about how like it's easy to get misguided. Like it says in these days and times, we're gonna get misguided by people who we believe and trust in the most, in the spheres that we trust in the most. So I'm just mindful of it. And it's like you're the one. You and me had a whole conversation a couple of years ago about how you felt some of his views to be problematic for you because of his unwillingness to really identify and address. It's not just the religious views and stance and takes that he's taking on. It's the fact that he won't address either. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like
Because that's
you
where
have,
the confusion starts, right?
yeah,
If you go ahead and clarify things, then there's no confusion. But if you just leave everything up to interpretation, like even when we do things on this show, and if we just say something and we never really expound upon it, then it's left up to interpretation, like, oh, such and such a hater this, hater that. No, I mean, it's what it is. I think that the line that it's a few lines on Damn that kind of struck me like, okay, I dig the album, but I don't totally agree. I mean, even lines like, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more. Like, okay,
right. I
how am
mean,
I supposed to feel about that as a
how,
proud black man? I don't know. Like,
how am I supposed to feel as somebody that was raised as a Christian and is a Christian when this guy's walking around with like a platinum crown of like diamond encrusted thorns? Like how am I like you tell me how
yeah.
I'm supposed to feel? Am I supposed to I don't hate him, but am I supposed to feel happy? Am I supposed to okay it? Am
Yeah,
I not
because
supposed
cause
to
like you
address it?
said, and like we both said in the previous episode, no other group would okay that, and nobody
No.
would call them a hater for doing so. So
So I was meaning to tell you. So this is one of those things where people, it's like, well, people be like, well, Coop, how can you say like you're a Christian? You're supposed to turn the other cheek and da, da, da. I'd be like, no, no, no. See, those are the New Testament Christians. I let people know it's like I'm an Old Testament Christian. I'll pillage, chop off your hand, burn down the village. That's the type of Christian that I am. How about that? You talking about that New Testament? No, 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 no. You get what I'm saying, and that's kind of how he's approaching it too. He's expecting that turn the other cheek. I told you he wouldn't do this to the Muslims because they would stomp him out at home in Cali. Like I'm not joking when I say that. You feel what I'm
I think
saying?
once again,
He,
even
he knows no like religious leaders like from the Christian community are going to like come step up and address like these tropes that he hasn't addressed really. You know what I
well, the
mean?
thing is, people are such fans of artists, and rightfully so. They make things that inspire us, make music that we rock to, and all of that. If a pastor were to come out and say whatever, whatever, they would label him a hater, a clout chaser, and they would side with Kendrick because they're fans of Kendrick. It's one of those things, man, when artists have such an
Love me some
edge.
good Kid, Mad City.
Huh?
I said I love me some good Kid, Mad City. I was
Yeah,
just
I
thinking,
love
like,
Kendrick's music. The music's dope, but
hey,
sometimes
look
we
here.
have to,
I'm,
again, like I said before, I have no problem with Common on any level. I'm a fan. But what I do have a problem with, and it's very tough for my ears to listen to in the same way, when you make a beautiful record, like a song for Asada, and you proclaim in that song that this woman was innocent of all charges, and you make it a point to to be happy and glorify the fact that she made it to Cuba safely and is living her life.
Mhm.
Yet you sit here and campaign for the same people who elevated her to being the most wanted woman in America, and you don't say anything about that. I mean, it's hard for me to sit there and believe anything you say. At that point, it makes it seem like A song for
Let's,
Asada was nothing but a school history project for you. I don't know if you really feel those things
when you
because
texted me
we
back, you see,
always
I just
talk
texted you
about
back. Wow.
what's
Hold on.
that?
No. I'm about to say it's rare that I want to slow you down, but it's like, well, when you texted me back, I didn't want to. I just texted you back, whoa, when you sent me that whole history class lesson thing, because this is what I mean about how people don't understand how much we've had this conversation many times. Fame and money and power really does corrupt. And so I don't know if I necessarily share your view because I think he was in a place and in a space at the time where that message that he delivered was sincere.
Mm-hmm.
But man is corruptible, Mike. And so since then, what we've really been finding out is, I hate to say this, is like the guy that you hear on Like Water for Chocolate, who's endearing to us. The guy who we hear on B, who's endearing to us. The guy who we hear on Finding Forever, that guy's been corrupted. And that's really what you're saying. It's not that that guy doesn't exist. That guy's been corrupted. He's been corrupted by the fame. He's been corrupted by the power. Like, he likes the fact that he makes the type of music that's cool enough for the impending president that's actually a senator from his city to listen to. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to his words on the people, like, you can tell that he can tell that people are listening to him who matter beyond the sphere of rap for the first time.
Yeah.
He's the first guy from Chicago to have it like that as a rapper. You know?
Yeah. No.
He's corrupted by that.
Finally
so
getting his just due. And and that's unfortunate.
Right. But this happens. It happened, and it's not, this isn't a black thing. This is a life thing.
Yeah.
This is a it was written type of thing. And I don't mean the album.
Let me get to the super chats real quick. DeCarlo says, serious question, guys. How do you feel about Nas carrying the cross and Jay calling himself Hove? I think that that can be religiously triggering too. If you guys notice, whenever I talk about Jay-Z, I don't call him Hove.
Me neither.
I always call him Jigga. I call him Jay. I never call him Hove.
I don't like the godly associations. I've come up on this show many times and talked about it. It's like, no, I don't like Hate Me Now video. You can keep all of that. Like, who does he think that he is? It's like, you don't have it that bad. You just got done selling 3 million records and going on tour with the Fugees and being the number one rapper in the game next to Tupac in 1996. What type of problems are you having with life? Oh, you get to follow that up by going out to L.A. with Dr. Dre. Right. To make a group album. Oh, woe is you. Get out of here with that. So that's how I feel about Hate Me Now. That's how I feel about Hate Me Now. Hate what? It's like, nigga, you won.
Ed with the super chat says, not to interrupt you, Ed with the super chat says, K-Dot deliberately avoids media so that he won't be held accountable for his words and messages. He lets his stands fight these battles when people want to critique him and don't go along with his BS. That's what it appears to be. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, man, like I said, he's obviously he has a lot to say, right? He has a lot of words. And what's the problem with clarifying things? When you leave things open for interpretation, it does feel like you're running from the situation. And, people sit there and argue you down like, well, he said this, and he said that on stage.
People start smelling each other when you get into certain rooms. So he has kind of put himself in this black intellectual room. And some of us in the room are smelling him, and it's like, oh, well, I don't think so. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, because it's starting to look like, it comes off like you've read about 85 to 90% of it. But when you start dissecting the way that you handle it, your unwillingness to speak. You see, here's the thing about it. Malcolm X and Dr. King may have had diametrically opposed views, but they were always out on Front Street with plenty of rhetoric and material to back up why they felt the way they felt, whether you agreed with it or not.
Exactly. No.
And so when you can't step to the pulpit, per se, proverbially, and do those things, even on a semi-regular basis, which he's never done, or even with some sort of consistency, well, I'm not saying you're a fraud, but those are the things that frauds are made of. Those are the people that, Mike, I told you I'm a life insurance agent. You know where I was today?
Where's
In
that?
this rain, I had to drive to Stone Mountain. I've literally been gone all day. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to get there. But I have a client up there. And in life insurance, people have a tendency to make their commission off of people and never show back up when people need them again. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had to get up today and drive out there and drive back and literally spend about 3 hours today on the road because I'm not that guy. And all I'm saying is that he looks like that guy because when it's time for you to show up and clarify and show that you're not the salesman that's going to make the commission and run to Ghana and London specifically, spade a spade. And so those of us that live a certain type of way, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I was like, not that I'm hating on him, it's just that like, but I would love to sit down and talk to him.
I feel
and
the
get him to
same
actually
way.
discuss.
I feel the same way about him and Common and everything that I'm saying. I have questions. As a fan, I have questions. Jay Short with the super chat says, Lupe and Kendrick fans have to understand when you're getting into the top 20, we have to split hairs. It's becoming more about catalog and missteps, and they're magnified. Excuse me. It's not just about talent. Yeah, these guys got talent in spades. And DeCarlo also wanted to know what we felt about Yeezus too.
Why?
No, as far as like, a person, he was talking about the whole Hove comment in the, Nas on the cross and adding Yeezus to that.
The only thing that was worse than him calling himself Yeezus was the actual product that came from it.
Yeezus is such a weird album, right?
Well, it just sucks.
No, because you say what you're saying about it, and I'm honestly can say I feel similar to where you do because I haven't really given Yeezus a listen in like forever. But some people love Yeezus, and they say it's his best effort. It gets highly regarded. And
they need to stop that. Outside of Blood on the Leaves, they need to stop that. Yeah. They just need to stop that. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, stop. Never do that again. Don't go out and tell your other friends who've heard his other stuff that. Keep that to your little circle of friends. That's just some of the. No, but again, it's awful. Terrible the work. They're like, he's trying to express himself in a way. I'm like, man, he's trying to express himself in a way that shit don't slap. So.
But again, A Song for Assad is a beautiful record. And, and if I were in front of Common, and I would love to have a conversation with Common. As a fan, I would ask him, like, do you still feel this way about, how Assata Shakur was treated by the United States government?
What have you done about it with your newfound political friends and influences? The question I would actually ask.
Well, we know what the result is.
Forget your feelings.
What did you do about the fact that her status got elevated for no reason?
Right.
When I mean, let's just keep it real. When Barack Obama elevated her status to being the most wanted woman in America, did hip hop, and you specifically, because you made a song about the woman, speak out? This is Tupac Shakur's aunt, and you've already proclaimed that you felt like she did nothing wrong. She was unfairly treated and had to flee the country for it. And on top of that, they were trying to get Cuba to send her back. No one's saying anything about that. And not only not saying anything about that, you're openly out here campaigning with and for the people who actually did this. So I just have a question, like, do you still feel the same way about Assata Shakur, or have you gotten any new information that has allowed you to change that? But no one's saying anything, and once again, when people sit down, we don't hold those type of conversations. And it's not anything, venomous or anything. As a listener, when I'm listening to your messages and the things you're saying, if you haven't addressed those things, it's kind of like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. I know we usually reserve those thoughts. We usually reserve those thoughts for the drug dealing rappers. I don't believe you. You ain't did this in the streets. You ain't did this in the streets. What about the conscious dudes?